Hi, my name is Katie Witek, and I'll be presenting Renzulli's Schoolwide Enrichment Model for Curriculum and Instruction for Gifted and Talented Students course. The rationale behind choosing this model is that it focuses on the 3 E's: enjoyment, engagement, and enthusiasm. Gifted students' talents and interests are at the core of this model. Data suggests that students are more engaged in their learning and develop real problem-solving skills that help them be successful in their adult lives. This is the overall structure for this model. The first structure is the regular curriculum, which is something that I think my school would adopt because it allows for integration into the regular classroom activities and allows for choice in a structured setting. A different type of structure is the enrichment clusters, where groups of students who share common interests work together during specifically designed blocks with a teacher of expertise. They usually meet for a block weekly. The last structure is the continuum of special services, which would be good for high school because they allow for counseling, direct assistance, and advanced level work and mentorships in their interest or skill level. Looking at the middle, the enrichment learning and teaching, there's 3 different types. The 3 different types of enrichment is type 1, general activities to get students engaged. This could be guest speakers, read-alouds, field trips, whether it's virtual or in person, and or video clips. After the type 1 enrichment, it's a good idea to debrief students with guiding questions to help you and them get a better sense of their interest level or skill that they would like to further investigate. Going into type 2 enrichment, this is an activity that allows students to conduct research and engage in the topic. This is where students would investigate by using different websites, how-to books, and specific training on further developing their understanding of the topic or skill set. Then going into type 3, this is where their interest or problem that interests them is finally put into a product where they showcase all that they've learned, designed to have an impact on an audience. There's a lot of differentiation in this model. For example, the main differentiation is that it's based on students' interest and skills. So based on their interest level that is developed in type 1, they then take that interest or skill and further investigate it and finally create a product based on that skill. It's also differentiated in the product of learning. So whether they want to showcase what they've learned in a 3D model, a journal, a solution-based project, a video, that's all differentiated. It's also differentiated based on their level of expertise. So some may have different background knowledge than others, and they bring that expertise into their group product or investigation. This is my school-wide enrichment model for language arts. So step 1 is where I would have them take an interest survey. This is an example of an interest survey that I've done in the past. So what I like about this one is that it showcases and asks them about their different favorite subjects that they have, as well as their talents, whether it's sports, dancing, music, drawing, writing, etc. This helps gauge their interest level before even setting up type 1, so the guest speakers, the read-alouds, the field trips. Another example is taken from one of the websites, which I'll show you later. It's a self-nomination form. So it asks them what special talents they have, and then it takes it a step further by asking them why they're good at those areas they checked and whether they've done projects in the past or read books or done activities based on those things, which again, this helps in bringing in those guest speakers, doing the read-alouds and field trips, and then setting up type 2, which leads us to type 2, the enrichment level 1. So this is where I would set up interest centers, field trips to the science industry and field museum, and guest speakers from a variety of careers and career fair. So all of this would be set up based on the interest survey that I had them take in the beginning of the year. And then I would set up these interest centers or have people come in from different careers and speak with them based on the interest surveys that students filled out in the beginning. I'd also like to take a field trip to science and industry and field museum. That way they get an idea of both sources or skill level sets in those different areas. The third step would be the enrichment level 2. So after picking one of those interests or skill levels that interest them, they would check out how-to books related to their topic. I would also create groups based on their interest levels, so that way they could work with a group in the next step, or they could choose to work by themselves. So in this process, students would read their how-to books and they'd fill out their reading logs, and I would conference with them based on what they're reading. In that conference, we would be able to create guiding questions together based on their topics. In step 4, this is the enrichment level 3. So this is where I would have groups or individuals work on projects based on further investigation. So they would, after reading their how-to books, they would finally create a project or product based on what they learned. And at the very end, we would have parents and community night where presentations are showcased, whether those are the 3D models, PowerPoints, etc. And that's all based on differentiation and student choice. This would take place over the course of 3 days. Level 1 is the easiest level to fit into any curriculum. Depending on which option you choose, it can take 5 minutes or over the course of a couple days. This level helps move students forward in the next level by building interest and engaging them in the topic. So some of those that I would include would be a read aloud for the appeal for dystopian novels for teens, showing a video on a conversation with Ray Bradbury, who is a well-known dystopian writer, and then setting up a dystopian novel interest center, like in the picture below, with a couple different novels associated with dystopias. Then moving into level 2, I would have them work in groups, reading different dystopian short stories, exploring the question, what is the difference between a utopia and dystopian society? In this level, students would self-select a dystopian novel to read in class and log evidence of utopian and dystopian concepts. So in level 2, they're kind of taking that interest in level 1, they're building and engaging in it in level 2, doing more in-depth work. And then in level 3, they actually have a final result, which they share out to an audience. So which is where they would create their own utopia. So level 1 and 2 are higher level and are meant to take students' interest in level 1 and help them get hands-on experience with the subject. In this case, I was able to build level 2 and 3 into a 4-week unit. However, teachers with time restraints could fit this into 3 days, depending on which is the topic that you want students to build interest on, whether it's multiple topics or just one in this case. These type 3 project choices on the next screen are different choices for differentiation to allow gifted students to work with a variety of options to enhance their understanding of the material. There are different options geared towards different talents, such as technology, writing, drawing, and designing. So in their final Utopia project, students would have a chance to create a video presentation, which is more technology-based, creating a board game, hands-on, creating 3D model displays, again, more hands-on and designing, and then writing your own story with illustrations. So incorporating writing and drawing. So just depending on the students' talents that we would gain an access to in the beginning when they take their interest survey, then students would be able to either choose based on their interest level or skill level, or the teacher would help them in going that path, knowing the data from the interest survey taken in the beginning of the class. Here are some resources that I thought teachers would really like. So there's a journal, there's 2 books, and there's 4 websites. So one of the books that I wanted to showcase is by Renzulli and Reese. And this is a guidebook that shows educators step-by-step on how to develop your own program based on SEN in your own classroom, based on your particular student population, faculty strengths and interests. And again, it's not a one-size-fits-all, so that's why this book really kind of helps figure out what different students' strengths are, interests, and really shows teachers on how to incorporate this model. Another one I wanted to showcase was one of the websites. And with one of the websites, what I really liked about this one is you can click on the different links under type 1 enrichment, type 2 enrichment, and type 3 enrichment, and it gives examples for each type. So for example, that's where I got my type 1 enrichment student survey from. In type 2, there's different materials and activities for planning. And even for step 3, there's art interest, secondary interest, and mentor matrices, so different types of tools available for teachers. And then the last one I wanted to showcase, the link for the website, was wide range of materials on the school-wide enrichment model. What I liked about this website was that Renzulli and Reese both have different videos on different parts of the model, and that really walks you through on different ideas that you can incorporate into your classroom. And lastly is my bibliography reference page with 3 different resources that I used to create this project. Hope you enjoyed.